You're listening to the Everything Went Black podcast.
Greetings, everyone. Welcome to this week's episode. Dawn of the Dead, consummate gentleman and vocalist for the legendary Nunslaughter, returns to the podcast. A lot of cool stuff going on with those guys. Their new record, Satanic Chaos Legions, is just about to come out. We talk about that. We talk about their recent appearance at the Milwaukee Metal Fest, and we go into a bunch of other cool stuff. It's always great catching up with Don, and I hope everyone enjoys this episode. If you're listening to this, thank you very much. Much appreciated. But also, please listen to the other podcasts brought to you on a weekly basis by the Horsemen of the Podcasting Apocalypse. Kicking the whole operation off every other Monday, we've got Horror Wolf 666, brought to you by Brandon Legion. Tuesday, we find Jackie Smits' Into the Necrosphere, the greatest extreme music podcast in the land. Wednesday, of course, Everything Went Black, the podcast that you're listening to right now, comes out, as well as Iblis Manifestations, brought to you by Cheyenne of the great band Trivax. Thursday is Necro Thursday, where I return alongside Jeff Kashid and Mike Scandato to bring you the Necromaniacs Horror Podcast. It is also day one of Soul Knox, brought to you by Carl Hikara. Friday, Spitball Media comes at you, an irreverent pop culture podcast. Saturday is a day off. So now that the summer months are here, at least in the northern hemisphere, go out, wear your sunblock, enjoy yourself, because Sunday the darkness returns with Carl Hikara's day two of Soul Knox. Carl and I are working on several different types of collaborations. Of course, we are in the band Hollowlands together, along with Drugoth. But we also have Darkness Weaves, our exploration of the work of Carl Edward Wagner, which is coming to a close. We've got just a scant few episodes left of that. But we're also kicking off the savage world of Robert E. Howard. If you are listening to this podcast, once again, thank you. If you want to support the podcast via Patreon, please do so for as little as $1 a month. And let's face it, you can't really buy much for $1 these days. You can support the podcast. You can get all of the bonus content, $5 a month, all the bonus content, plus early access to the shows. And for $25 a month, you can sponsor the show with an ad. Don, first of all, I have to give you some compliments on the recording of the new album. Your voice sounds awesome, dude. I listened to the entire record like 3 times already. You sound great on it.
Thank you. Yeah, that has a lot to do with Noah and his the recording studio is where we practice. So anytime, like if I I'd bring the rough mix home and I'd listen to it, I'm like, I don't like this. Or Noah would say, try saying it this way. It was super easy to go back into the studio and change that one line or those couple of words. And that's a luxury that many bands don't have. I think all of us that have ever recorded anything, after it comes out and you listen to it a few times, like, I could have said that word differently, or I could have changed that word, or, I could have scooched that word one way or the other. It would have been better, had more impact. And in this case, I did have so many chances. So if there's something's messed up, it's 100% on me.
No, I mean, the recording sounds great. I mean, Noah's awesome, man, and the band sounds great. Your vocals, like, that was the thing that, grabbed me right away, was just how powerful the vocals were. And I was real excited. Like I said, John sent me the album to listen to, and I ran through it like maybe two and a half, almost 3 times completely before, checking in on you for this podcast.
Awesome. Thank you so much for listening to it, Mike. I appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Oh, recently you guys played at Milwaukee Metal Fest too, right?
Yep, just last week.
Now, have you guys have done that before, right? Or
We
is this the first
played, I
time?
think it was 3 years ago. And but this year was it was a little different, at least for us. We got a much better time slot. And I think that had to do with Mike Gitter. He's personal friends with Jamie Jostin. I don't know if you saw the news, but as of Monday or Tuesday, Hatebreed signed with Black to Black Records as well. So, you know, and like a lot of people say in music business and in entertainment, it's all about connections. And I think it was just Mike asked us to play it, and I said, "Well, I'm up for it." But we played it like 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon last time, and I said, "I don't want to drive all that way." And he says, "If I can get you a better time slot, would you be interested?" And I said, "Sure." And we ended up playing it 10 p.m. sandwiched between Monstrosity and Incantation. So
Oh
it was a
man,
really good time slot.
that's like a perfect time slot. Like
It
10
was,
p.m.
yeah.
10 p.m. is a good time to play, man, because it's like it's late enough where everyone's there, and it's not too late where people are like, ready to go home. And that's
Right,
like
trying to
that's
beat the rush, or everybody's trying to leave or anything. Yeah, we were. It was a really very good, and the people at Milwaukee Metal Fest, including Jamie, uh, all like total pro, people. Like it wasn't. Oh, I don't know how to do that, or what do you guys got this going on, or it was everybody set everything up. So it was really nice.
yeah, it sounds like more like a European festival, like the way they run
Right.
things over there.
Yeah.
Like, there's I feel like as much as I love, anyone who wants to do a cool festival, the Euros really have it dialed in, man. Like when you play festivals
They
over
sure
there,
do. Yep.
and it's cool to hear that there's an organization in the States that's bringing it to the next level with all that production.
Yeah, and I got to say, we haven't played Maryland Death Fest in quite a few years, but uh, they got that fest dialed in
Yeah.
too. Like it's. I mean, everybody's informed. You know where you got to be. You know what time you got to be there. Everything from food, merchandise, transportation. Getting on stage. Everybody really top notch.
Yeah, no, that's a lot of fun. Yeah, playing Milwaukee Metal Fest is pretty much like, like the goal, or like, a legendary sort of accomplishment, I think, for most of us out here in the metal world and our little bands that we're doing, hanging out in the basement, playing. It's like, oh man, playing Milwaukee Metal Fest would be great. So cheers, congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Yeah. So yeah, you touched a little bit on Black to Black, which is it's an imprint for Frontiers, right? I think that's the basically it's
Yeah.
part of a larger label.
Oh, I mean, Frontiers is so big.
Yeah.
I never heard of them. They're that big. Um, it's one of those things that unless you do some investigation, like BlackRock or something, you're like, oh, I never heard of them. And then you look into it, like, oh, well, they own everything.
Yeah, they're like the hidden
So
hand behind all this.
right. So Frontiers, they're mainly like classic rock and some 80s hair metal, but it's so you think like, oh, I wonder if Boston is on their label. Yeah, Boston is on the label. BOC.
Oh wow.
Yes. I
Oh
mean,
damn.
the list is like, in fact, uh, when Mike Gitter was at the Milwaukee Metal Fest, and I said, "This is Mike." I says, "I know this is a far fetched thing." I says, "But what are the chances of a Nunslaughter Blue Oyster Cult split 7 inch?" The guys in my band are like, "I can't believe you'd ask him that." I says, "You got to ask." I says, I mean, granted, it benefits them not at all, but
No, yeah.
it would be something for my heart. I'm just a huge Blue Oyster Cult fan,
Eh,
but yeah. So Black to Black, pretty new label. I mean, just maybe a little over a year old. But what kind of because a lot of times you might be like, maybe a new label. Who are they going to get? And then I saw, they had Megadeth and
Yeah, the new Megadeth.
Biohazard, Forbidden, and Cro-Mags before they had signed Nunslaughter. And I said, well, maybe they got their shit together. I mean, if they can get one of the biggest metal bands of all time, Megadeth, to be on the label, they've got some sort of pull or moxie or something going on. So that was a big reason that we decided to go with them. Yeah.
Yeah, I suspected it was something like that because I know when when I found, I got the press release for the record and I saw the label and I was like, huh, I bet this is like, let me check this out. You know what I mean? And there was just something about, I don't know, the logo or something where I'm like, man, this is probably a part of like a bigger operation. And then when I saw that Megadeth was on, I'm like, yeah, this is definitely the real deal. So that's awesome, man.
Yeah,
Mike
and then I have
Gitters.
Hatebreed.
Hatebreed, yep, I saw that today. Actually, I saw online that Hatebreed is on that label too. And Mike Gitter is a seasoned professional in the A&R world.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I'm fortunate that he uh, came to like this record and we seem to get along great with him.
He was also a guest on this podcast a number of years ago.
He was. Oh,
Yeah,
wonderful.
yeah.
Boy, he's got a freaking awesome past with all the Boston punk and hardcore scene. And then he wrote a book that I've thumbed through, but I haven't read it all about that whole music scene coming up with, Siege and
Yeah, SSD Control. Yeah.
yes, and so I'm excited to dig into that. And boy, his knowledge is so vast.
That was when that book came out, Mike came on the podcast to talk about it. So that's like an old episode from, I don't know, 2017 or something like that. And that book was just about ready to come out. And yeah, it's great. I have a copy of it. And there's like a vinyl. You can get like there's like a little compilation that came out along with that too.
Oh, cool. I didn't know that. Yeah.
Yeah, actually Toombs is on it. It's like he picked a
on the
bunch of
record?
bands. Yeah, he picked a bunch of
Oh,
bands. And he asked all the bands that participated to do a cover for a song that came out within that time frame that the magazine existed.
and what did you
So
guys do?
we did "Kiss of Steel" by Sam Hain.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Very
so
cool, man.
yeah, it was fun. It was an honor, man. Because I hope Mike doesn't hear this, but Mike is like kind of like a legendary guy, like especially if you're in like the Northeast or New England or like I lived in Boston for a number of years, and like everyone knew Mike Gitter. You know what I mean? It was like, oh yeah, he used to do shows. He did the zine. Now he's he had these labeled. Now he works over here and he did that. He Roadrunner or whatever. And it's like, yeah, he was just like the guy. For anything related to metal or hardcore. Yeah, and he was just like a behind the scenes sort of guy. And now he's like, like I said, a seasoned professional. So that's cool.
Yeah, he's actually their global A&R guy, because I asked him and I said, are basically like where are you within the company, and are you just A&R for the United States or the North America? And he's like, no, I'm global.
He's like the emperor of Black to Black.
Yeah, he's up there. He's a very I guess he gets around a lot. In fact, it seems like every time I text him or call him, he's at a show, or like if he doesn't get back to me the next day, I wake up and on my Instagram feed from him, he's like, he's taking pictures with the Sepultura guys and all that. And I'm like, oh, that's why you didn't get back to me, because you were at the show. It's like every day,
Yeah, I mean that's the job. You're just out all the time and doing your thing. Different hours. Taking it global, like you were saying, he's a global A&R rep there.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
I
the
texted him one time. It was 10 o'clock here, so it was 7 a.m. there. And I texted him and he texted me right back. And I responded by, what the hell are you doing up so early? And he's like, I got back from the gym. So this guy's up at 6 a.m., getting the gym, then coming home and working for 15 hours or whatever. I don't know. Yeah.
It's admirable, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you guys have the video. So the first single I believe is out as we record this, and that video single is Pukerist. which is awesome. It's really
Thank you.
cool. You're doing a little bit of acting in there, I see, you know.
I guess you can say that. My preacher acting. So that was a really super uh, fun video. So Noah ended up editing it, but a friend of his that works at Sweetwater purchased like a film kit. He was getting into video, and he wanted to do he more for his reel, to say that he's what bands he's working with. So he came out here. Uh, Basically, it was it was just expenses, and he filmed everything. He was here for a day. We probably worked 8 or 10 hours that day, and then he gave Noah all the footage. And then we says, Noah ended up editing it, and it looks like, I don't know how it looks on YouTube necessarily, but when I watch it's 4K, it looks like a movie.
Yeah, no,
I mean, I was like, man, this thing looks awesome.
yeah,
And so it worked well with that was mainly all Noah's ideas on how to bring that song to a video. And yeah, I thought it turned out great. We did have one. We had our first video was it was a lyric video for Satanic Chaos Legions, and that was just a lyric video. And then the funny thing is, the video that got the most views was the song "Jesus Fucking Dies," and it was a last minute suggestion from Mike. He was like, "Hey, why don't you shoot a video for this?" And I was like, "Okay," and I shot it. I just came in one day. I just shot everybody's on my cell phone. I came home. It took me about 10 minutes to edit it. I had all 4 videos running, and I just clicked back and forth. Camera 1, camera 2. This is back and forth, and then bam, we put it up, and then no production value, 0 thought, cell phone. 10 minutes to edit, and that happened to be the one that's gotten the most views of them all. So
that's awesome, man. But
so you never know.
Yeah, but it's like the kind of music we're talking about here. It's like sometimes that like unproduced, like lo-fi kind of vibe, like with a video, works really well. You know what I mean? It's like that griminess to it, But yeah. So Pukerist, cool song. Blasphemy. I heard somewhere that you enjoy satanic lyrics. Like, so those are pretty much like,
You may have heard it from me.
I might. It's like someone along the line told me that you might like, prefer satanic lyrics. So yeah. So what is it about all the blasphemy and Satanism and all this other stuff? Because I also prefer dark satanic sort of lyrics too. So
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of times people go when they hear that, that's all he listens to. It isn't. I'm over here. I'm listening to Van Morrison and Steely Dan and Rod Stewart. But and the satanic lyrics, just as a kid, I just always liked them. I mean, and you don't know necessarily why you like them. It just growing up, I always liked monster movies. I liked The Creature from the Black Lagoon over Kramer versus Kramer. I would rather watch a vampire or a zombie movie over pick one, and it was just as a kid, I developed this interest in either the dark arts or just the symbolism, the fire, the upside down crosses, all this stuff. And then of course, Slayer didn't help, because I loved the music and that was the image, and I was just like, oh, this is great. And then the big one for me was, though, that in a magazine I read, and this was like, and this is paraphrasing Jeff Becerra, but he said something along the lines of, in death metal, you can sing about death or Satan. We choose to sing about both. And I was like, man, that's like, it's right in your face. And I thought that was great. So just as a kid growing up listening to death metal, those are the lyrics that interested me the most.
Yeah, just I feel like the music hits harder when it has like that darkness. You know what I mean? Like bands like Deicide, of course Slayer, the early Venom stuff. Anything that has that sort of rebellion to it. And I think like, I mean, I also loved horror. I love horror movies. To this day, that's a passion of mine. And I think that as a kid, though, it was like that horror movie connection, and then finding out about Sabbath and Venom and Slayer, and then all those bands, kind of turned me onto it too. But did you, for me though, I grew up like a Roman Catholic. So was there religion in your life when you grew up?
Yeah, in fact, so long story, a little longer. Um, so growing up, my mom's doing the best she can, and it was just kind of what you're supposed to do is take your kids to church and instill in them some sort of I don't know if it was morality or whatever the case is. But when I was young, I got baptized, and that was just that's what uh, we have Polish ethnicity, so or background. So um, and it was just what you did. But the longer I went to, there's called CCD, and
Oh yeah, I'm familiar.
going in and learning about what's going on there in the Bible, it just seemed kind of dumb and ridiculous to me. So what had happened when my dad died when I was 7, and my mom was really struggling to raise 2 kids, and my mother went to the church and asked for basically a handout, like, hey, either food or shoes or clothing for the kids. And her response shocked her. And they says, we're not going to give you anything. God will allow you to find a way, or something along those lines. And so my mom, after that, she said, you know what? I think this whole church bullshit is it's just a money making scheme. But she still felt that we should go. So I went all the way through catechism and got confirmed by the church when I was 13. And being confirmed, for people who don't know, it means now I'm recognized as a member of the church. And basically, I think that means even if you've got a paper route, you can still put your 10 or 15% tithings in every week, is what they wanted from you. So with 13, I remember getting done with the ceremony. I got in the car, and my mom said, well, you're confirmed. This is like literally, I'm still in a suit, because I got a little tie. She says, you're confirmed by the church now. You can either continue to go to church and I'll take you, or you never have to go again. And I said, I don't want to go anymore. And she said, okay. And she never forced me after that. But
Yeah, the real irony is like what you were saying though about, you give your little couple bucks or whatever, on Sunday, like they'll take that money from you, right? But if you need it, well,
that's tough.
yeah,
Yeah.
I
I
don't know
mean,
if I could break off a piece for you. You know what I mean? It's like,
all the televangelists and the greed that surrounds not only that religion but most religions. It's a disgusting display of people using other people to just for financial gain.
well, the whole like mega church atmosphere is a completely different, like that is like on steroids, man. Like that's like blatantly a money grab. It's like these
Yeah,
guys
they're not
got,
hiding it at
they're
all.
not even hiding it. It's like out in the open, man. Like believe it or not, out here in New Jersey, down there's a mega church. I drive by it when I go to band practice. It's right off of the Garden State Parkway in a town. I forgot the name of the town, but it's like right. You're heading down towards practice, and there's this gigantic cross, and they have this huge ass building, man, and like a gigantic parking lot, and like, I never, generally I'm not going down there on Sundays, so I don't know if it's like packed or like what the deal is, if it's ever filled with people or anything, but it's just like it's a trip to see that, because like I'm used to seeing that out in the Midwest, really, and it's like that's like you know a very like a staple out there. Like you see crosses and like these gigantic mega churches,
Yeah.
and it's just like it's like kind of like a uniquely American thing. Like I think that style of Christianity really is only in the States, or maybe, a couple other places, but it's not, you don't really see that in Europe, I guess is what I'm trying to say. That's,
No, I haven't seen that in Europe either. But yeah, it's boy, it just seems so because unfortunately my grandmother on my father's side, as she got older, um, she looked at those people on TV, as the televangelists, as friends,
mm,
and she would call in often and give 10, 15, $100 at a time, but it was someone she could talk to. And
oh,
they actually
right.
put her on the air, like just her voice, and she was, oh, this is Mildred. I'm calling in. I love you. And, but they were bilking her for money because she was an elderly lady living by herself. And when she'd call in, it felt like she had friends and these people actually cared about her. And all of her grandchildren would be like, Grandma, quit. She's on a fixed income here.
Yeah, no, you
Like,
can't be doing that.
quit giving them money. And she's just like, well, when I call in, they ask, and they need new, new carpeting, so I have to donate. Like, whatever.
Yeah, you see, that's the real irony though about just religion in general though. It's like, it's almost like this weird inversion of, yeah, Christians will point out people who don't have the same beliefs and sort of demonize them as like, oh, well, you're into all this crazy shit. You're into Satan, whatever. You're into Aleister Crowley or, you're evil. But they're the ones who actually will victimize people that way and take money away from them and then tell people what to do and, make it so that you can't get an abortion and all this crazy shit. So it's a really this like complete inversion
Yeah.
and it's like
It's
baffling. Yeah.
opposite of what you would think. There was a quote from the Satanic Church, and they were responding to some messages, and basically they were saying, we don't believe in a literal Satan. There's nobody sitting on a rock and down in hell and pushing some souls away, and someone had responded to like, well, who then believes in a literal Satan? And their response was Christians.
Yeah,
I thought,
absolutely.
I thought that was an awesome answer because it's a one-word answer.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, I mean, that philosophical attitude about Satanism, I think is interesting. Where it's like symbolic and it has more to do with like personal freedom, rather than going out and like, doing evil, quote unquote. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, Nunslaughter has like all sorts of satanic stuff all over the imagery. Have you ever gotten like on maybe on the road or any hate mail or any kind of conflicts with people over that stuff? I know you go through on tour, you go through some strange parts of the country and even abroad. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I used to get a lot more hate emails. This is like MySpace time,
Oh wow, okay,
and
a while ago.
and a little after that, but it seems the hatred has maybe died down a little bit.
Oh,
I haven't
interesting.
gotten, I mean, every once in a while I log on to Instagram and it'll say, whatever, like, Jesus still loves you, or you can shove Satan up your ass, whatever. And usually I just roll with it. I just ignore them. But out on the road, not normally. In fact, usually because we're face to face with people a lot of times, and then
Yeah.
they realize that we're not demons or monsters or evil people. They just kind of oh, you're in this kind of band, and I'm like, hey, look, feel free to look it up when you get time, but just realize it could offend you. And they're like, I'm not offended. But the only time I was a little worried when we did a couple of shows in Southeast Asia, and we were performing in Malaysia, and I know there was a band shortly right before we went, like a year before we were there. They they weren't allowed into the country because of their lyrics and imagery. And I was a bit concerned about getting into the country and then maybe either being kicked out or arrested for blasphemy laws that actually do exist in some parts of the world. And once we got there, and people were pretty kind, and the worry was, you know, I wasn't as worried as I was before I left to go to Malaysia. But I've also heard that in China, that's another place that, like, if you have CDs, that they should be sealed, and that the CD shouldn't contain anything, perverse, like a demon raping something, or this kind of stuff, because they'll either confiscate it or they'll just say you can't come into the country.
Oh wow, really?
So those are some things that are I'm always conscious of. I actually just talked to John McEntee at Milwaukee Metal Fest about that, and he was like, "No, it never occurred to me." And so I told him my experiences, and he's just like, "Oh shit."
Yeah, man. Yeah. So you guys played in China? That's awesome, man.
No. We were actually, right at COVID. So we had I think it was 3 or 4 shows in China. We had Taiwan, we had South Korea, and a smattering of a few other ones. I think maybe 8 or 9 shows all together. And then South Korea got closed, and that's where we were supposed to fly into and out of. And then the promoter was like, "Well, we can maybe, we can get you tickets from Taiwan," and then like Taiwan like closed, literally closed.
Yeah.
You can't go there. And we're like, "Oh shit!" And that was just when the band Power Trip, I think they were there, and I think they got stuck. I think it was them. If it wasn't them, I know they did have issues, but there was a band in kind of the music underground that we exist in, that got stuck because they didn't have any flights. You couldn't fly anywhere. And it got down to like, "Hey, we're leaving soon. What do you guys want to do?" And we're like, because we could get on the airplane and be flying, and they go, "Yeah, you're closed." And then what do you do? And so consensus from the promoter and us, we just said, "You know what, let's do this another time." But yeah, hopefully we'll get to China, maybe next year, the year after.
You guys have played a lot of countries.
The door is closing quick for me, so I got to go soon.
You guys have played a lot of different countries, man. Like, I know just, over the years, just talking about, being on the road and everything. And so, Malaysia, that's another amazing country. That would be an amazing place. How was it like playing there? Because you said initially you might have been concerned about some of the, sort of religious fundamentalism or something like that in a country like that. They have different rules and regulations about obscenity, but in general, the fans were good though, right?
Fans were great, and I think kudos to them, because granted, we did play a fest. And we were headlining, but I can almost guarantee you that a large portion of the people that were watching us maybe never heard of us before. But they were just metal music fans. And so for that, I give them props, man. I mean, they, the whole stage diving and tons of energy, and that's what they gave us. And hopefully when we go back now, it's probably been 13 or 14 years since we were in that part of the world. But hopefully we had a couple of albums, and then this album, hopefully with distribution, maybe the people that are showing up will be like ready for Nunslaughter or a fan of Nunslaughter's, rather than just there because it's a fest. But yeah, it was a great time.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. And it's funny, it's interesting you get complacent sometimes in the United States about going to shows, or you take for granted the fact that like you can just like pick any day of the week really, and and oh, I want to go see a band play tonight, and there'll be somebody playing somewhere, and every big tour comes through here, and when you play in places like that, don't necessarily get the same volume of especially this type of music. It's like a special thing to be part of that with them, and it's like it makes you appreciate things even more here.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I live in Cleveland,
Yeah.
and there is almost a show every night somewhere in the punk, hardcore, or metal music scene that you could go to. And if you want to expand your tastes, there is definitely a rock and roll or rockabilly show going on right now. I guarantee it, and it's virtually every day. And so you do get spoiled because you can pick and choose. What shows you want to go to. And the top, I went to I went to 5 shows in one day here in Cleveland, and it started pretty early. This was in the summer, but I went to we were having it was like a car show here in Lakewood, and I went to see a rockabilly band, and then I went to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and I think it was Ted Nugent was playing, and then we got free tickets to go see MOD. So we stopped in to see MOD.
This is all in one day, in one
It's all
24-hour
in one,
period.
all in one day. And then we went to another punk show. This was probably about right around midnight, and then just a few blocks from my house, because my buddy was driving, who lives here in Lakewood. He's only a few blocks away. He's like, "Hey, I think that show at the Hewlett is still going on." And he wanted to see the headlining band, and he's like, "They're probably not going on until 12:30." And I was like, "Let's go." So we went there and we watched that. I got home about 1:30, but yeah, it was 5 shows in one day.
Damn,
You
man,
know,
that's impressive. Cleveland's got a pretty great scene, man. There's always been, even ever since like, my awareness of the 80s, man, there's been bands of all different styles in Cleveland. And like that Lakewood area that you're talking about is the Mind's Eye Records in that neighborhood?
yeah.
Yeah.
Charles Abu Shebel, he's a good friend of mine, and his store it moved a few years ago. It's probably over 10 years ago, but he used to only be 2 blocks away from me, and I could walk to his store. And now he's he's maybe a mile and a half from me. But what a fantastic store to have here in Lakewood. But this area, we used to have another one, Chris's Warped Records. That was one that had a lot of independent record pressings of metal and punk bands. And then we had another record store just outside of Lakewood called Shattered. And that was another one that was like kind of legendary.
Yeah, I've been to that one before too. Yeah. I just remember like Charles was friends with a lot of people that I knew in Cleveland, and damn, in the last like 20 years, I've probably been through Cleveland. I don't even know how many times, and I always stopped in there and always found something great to get from there, and it was always like it was always something sort of old and obscure that I would get there. You know what I mean? Like a Frank Marino record or something, or like it was never like you know like a Napalm Death record or something. It was
Yeah,
some
the
kind of
standard
thing.
Sodom record or something. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's something. He's see his boy. He is talk about somebody who is wired for music. He loves music of all styles,
yeah,
and when you get him going, they have it was 6 degrees of separation type of thing. He can connect bands that you didn't even think existed in the same decade. And it's like, well, that guitarist, he played in this band, and then that band went on to do this, and then they recorded this record here. And you're like, how do you remember this? I mean, just he's phenomenal with that. Or you come in with what you think is some sort of obscure information like, hey, Charles, I heard that the first pressing of Led Zeppelin 2 had this, the guy who cut the lacquer record, his name was, Weissman, and he put it in the Matrix, and those are the collectible ones. And he's like, yeah, I know. Like,
that's like entry level. That's entry level stuff for him, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if he'd remember me, but like I said, I remember him. Like he's, I've had many conversations with that guy, and like he's friends with all the dudes I know in Cleveland. Like, and they'd always take us there and spend the whole afternoon, and then head over and do the gig, or whatever, and that place is rad. But you know what, you kind of like glossed over this thing about BOC. Now, what do you think the likelihood of something like that happening, man? Nunslaughter BOC.
I mean, if I was to put a percentage on it, I would say 5% that it's going to happen. I mean, who knows? It wouldn't be something. The thing is, it all boils down to there's probably no real money in it for the label or for Blue Oyster Cult. There's putting out something like that, it would do more harm for their reputation than good. Because I can't imagine there's a lot of people that are running around, I can't wait for the new BOC or a BOC split, and then comes out with like Nunslaughter. What the hell is this shit? So, but I am ever since, geez, I mean, it probably started with Godzilla, that was the gateway song. I mean, I was a fan of the Godzilla movies, and then here's a song, and so I liked that. And then probably as I got a little older, when I saw heavy metal, and I was just blown away. Soundtrack is great.
Is that veteran of 1,000 Psychic Wars? Is that the track? Yeah, that's the veteran of the Psychic
Wars. And
yeah.
So then that kind of started me down the path of finding out more about who this band Blue Oyster Cult is. And they had quite a few records before, because I think probably had Fire of Unknown Origin was probably my first album. And then went back and listened to all the earlier ones and just followed their career. So, man, it would be, I figured I'd throw it out there.
Dude,
But the other big thing is, for me, you never know. With Gitter, he knows so many people. It just might be we happen to be in the same town or city at some point, and he's like, "Hey, do you want to meet the guys from Blue Oyster Cult?" I'm like, "Where do I gotta go?"
No, that's killer. And you know what? It's weird because like, I don't know, man. I can almost visualize it because maybe just because of the imagery too. They have that symbol, and I'm like, oh, that's vaguely evil looking and satanic, and when you said BOC Nunslaughter split, I was like, that would be fucking cool, man. Like even just like as a visual like artifact, but yeah, dude, I love that band. Aside from writing awesome riffs, like the Godzilla riff is like a heavy riff, they write great songs, man. Like Burning for You. You mentioned Fire of Unknown Origin, great pop song. And like, like Don't Fear the Reaper, man. That's like the anthem that, they gave the world that song. It's great.
Yeah. I mean, that's still being played on the radio, and I even, what kind of got me into their, like a deeper dive is their weirder song titles. I'm on the land, but I ain't no sheep. She's as beautiful as a foot. Like, you're like, what the hell? Like, what is this? And it was just like added that air of mystery to who are these people? And then well, let me ask you this. What's your favorite Blue Oyster Cult album or song?
I would say probably Agents of Fortune.
Yeah,
that's a great record. And something the creepiness of that album cover too.
Mm-hmm.
Like I remember my cousin, the dude she ended up marrying, he had this like sick record collection, and he's like, he was older, so he had all that 70s stuff. And I would like, when they started living together, he knew I loved music and I played guitar and everything. So I would like go through and record, you could record the LP onto a cassette or whatever. So I'd recorded like on double 90-minute tapes, like the dude's almost his entire record collection. You know what I mean? I had like the Doors and like Blue Oyster Cult. And that was the one, man. And I was like, something about that album cover with that guy and the mustache and the cards.
Right.
It was very unsettling, man. And that has Don't Fear the Reaper on it. And I was just like, wow. Then I put it together with Halloween, and that's always been my favorite album by them.
Yeah. For me, it's got to be Spectres. That has Nosferatu, and
Yeah.
I think it's such a beautiful song. Um, and again, for me, it was the album cover. It's like all reddish, yellow, orangish tinge to it, and of course, as you always have to look for where the BOC symbol is. It's on every
Yeah.
cover.
Uh-huh.
So, and so that was just one of those things. I gravitate towards that, or Cultosaurus erectus.
I'm not
Those
overly
two.
familiar with that one, but that has a cool album cover too, by the way. Just like this weird dinosaur skeletal.
Dinosaur thing, there's a BOC ship flying close to his mouth. I don't know
Yeah.
what the hell they're talking about, but yeah.
Yeah. So the name of the new album is what the hell was the name of the album here? Satanic Chaos Legions.
Yes.
Yeah. That comes out on June 6th. When's the release date of that?
June 26, 2026.
Okay, great. So this episode will come out literally days before the album's released.
Oh, kick ass.
Yeah, so we're gonna preview this for everybody to let everyone know what's going on, and then you guys right away, like straight off, go on the road, right? You guys are going to Europe right after that.
Yeah, actually, we leave on the 24th, and our first show is in Poland on the 26th, on the day of the
Oh, there you
release
go.
of the album. So that was kind of dumb luck. Like it just happened that way. So I think we're prepared to play one song from the new album, but the guys in the band want to do at least one song, if not more. But I'm kind of the person that, like, I don't really like when bands play a song that I haven't had time to hear or digest.
Mm-hmm.
I was just never a fan of that. Like when you go and see a band and they say, hey, we got an album coming out next month. Here's a song from it. I'm like, I mean, it might be a great song, but I didn't care. But anyway, I think we're going to do Unsacrament. That's one we actually performed it at Milwaukee Metal Fest.
Oh, cool.
Hey, if not Milwaukee, we played a show the next day. I think in Lansing we played it. But in any case, that's the one that we're practiced up on. So yeah, and we have some really long, like some of the club shows, they're requesting 70 minutes or more.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
They want to get their money's worth in Europe, man. I remember like
time, man.
yeah, dude. It's like I think here for us a 50-minute set is like long, but then when you go over there, if you're headlining, they want like an hour plus time, man. And it's like,
Yeah. Well, one place was asking us for 80 minutes, and I'm like,
damn.
I don't know about it. Like, I just don't know if I have enough gas in the tank to do 80 minutes. But we agreed somewhere around 70 is what we said. So, and we know the songs, but well, as you know, you just playing for so long, you just get tired,
Yeah. It's interesting that you mentioned that. It's funny because like I have the same conflict when there's new records that come out, and it's like, when you go, like we just did like a very short run of dates about a month and a half ago, and when we were putting the set list together, because we had an album that came out last year, Feral Darkness, and it was like, how much of this should we play, man? We ended up playing like 3 songs, right? But at this, I'm not trying to present our band as anything bigger than it really is, but when we go on the road and play, people that come to the shows know the songs, like they know like the older material. And the first night of the show of the tour, I was like, we were playing the new songs, and you could even see like some of the people had like like it's almost like they're like, what the fuck is this? Like, not in a negative way, but just like, whoa, I didn't expect that, and it's like maybe they haven't sat with the record long enough or anything like that, or
Mhm.
it's like it's an interesting thing. It's funny because like I used to be like, fuck it, we're just playing all new material. Then like one day, like one of the guys in the band was like, no one knows these fucking songs, man. They're not even released yet. So it's like, what are you trying to prove, man, by playing all this new shit that no one knows about? It's like just play some of the old songs, and it's like, yeah, and there's a couple of tracks that like I know people want to hear, and it's so yeah, you got to be real choosy sometimes about, I mean, hell, I see you go see Slayer, they don't play any new songs. They all play like, stuff from like Haunting, well, maybe not Haunting the Chapel, but like, Rain and Blood and South of Heaven and stuff like that.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
might, they
I
might play
mean,
two new songs maybe.
when now when I go see, like, let's say I've seen Boyster Cult probably maybe a dozen times. I'm disappointed when I hear uh like Don't Fear the Reaper or Godzilla live, because I'm like, you have so many other songs I want
Yeah.
to hear. Like, don't, you're wasting my time. I've
Yeah.
heard Godzilla 100 times,
Well, those
Uh,
are the moneymaker songs for them, so they gotta
right.
play them, man.
Because there's not their audience is not filled with super fans. Their audience are filled with people who like Don't Fear the Reaper and Godzilla.
Yeah.
So they have to play that, and I do understand that, but then I'd be like, why don't they play for 90 minutes and get some of the other good ones in there? But Immolation is a band who they mainly, when they put out an album, they mainly play the material from the new album,
Yeah.
which is strange. It goes against like what we were saying, what you would normally think playing songs that people know. And like some of the bigger tours there, like they were on tour with I think Behemoth and
Yeah.
DSI or something. I'm sure they have a relatively short set. It's probably not over 40 minutes. It's probably closer to 30. And they're just playing. I don't know what they played, but if I've probably seen them 20 times in the past, but anytime there's a new album, they mainly play the new material. And if you only got 30 minutes or 40 minutes, that's 5 or 6 songs and then they're done. But obviously it's working for them because they're on tour with Behemoth.
Yeah, those
So,
massive tours. Those guys had like
yeah.
a third act in their career, man. It's like, and I think the last 2 albums they did were just like, they just, I don't know, they have like this resurgence, and I've always liked Immolation, man. They were always like one of my favorite like tri-state area bands, like from this area, like, Mortician, Immolation, Incantation, like that crop of bands.
Yeah, those are pretty much the big 3.
Yeah, Suffocation, throw in there too. But
yeah, so Immolation, before they were called Immolation, they were called Rigor Mortis, and both Rigor Mortis and Immolation used to play Pittsburgh quite often, and that's where I first met them. Was at a show. Pittsburgh had an awesome music scene, and it's close enough for them to drive down, play a show, and then drive home the next day. And so we were fortunate. That's how I got to know those bands personally, even though I had their demo tapes from buying it through mail or tape trade. But like Incantation, Mortician, and Immolation, and even Revenant, they played in our area quite often, more than once a year.
yeah.
And so that's how far back I go with some of the people that are still in the band.
Oh yeah, definitely. So speaking about members of the band, it's still Noah, Joe, and Mike in the band.
Yes.
All right,
Yep.
awesome. Yeah.
Mike is without a doubt the crowd favorite.
Oh yeah,
and,
man. He's my favorite when I used to watch you guys play every night. For sure, man.
Because you don't know where he's going, what he's doing. He's painted up, he's tatted up, he's got all the spikes, he's spitting blood. He's jumping around. He plays bass like a hardcore guy. Because he was in Integrity.
Yeah.
So he knows something about hardcore, and that's all his energy. He puts, I got to give it to him. He puts it all out on stage, and the pictures that people take of him, because he's the most photogenic, are great. So we are very fortunate to have him in the band, and he's quite a good friend too. And he only lives like a mile and a half from my house as well. He lives above No Class.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. All right. Really?
Yeah, so.
Okay. No, I know that neighborhood very well, actually.
Yeah.
Well, tell those guys I said hi, man. Definitely, when you see them.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So yeah, just let's hit us with that release date and like where people can order it, like that sort of stuff. Because like I said, this episode is coming out like days before the album release.
Yeah. So Nunslaughter, Satanic Chaos Legions. It'll be out June 26th, 2026, to get that 666 in there.
Oh yeah.
And it'll be on Black to Black. It's on Black to Black's website, and that's BLK II BLK. It's not two. And but I think hopefully I'm not sure where all it'll be distributed, but I assume we'll have very good distribution, simply because Megadeth and Cro-Mags and Biohazard has the same distributors. So hopefully people will be able to find it just about anywhere. And then of course our old label, Hell's Headbangers here in the States, they actually bought a special color of the record. I think they only got 100 copies of it, so it's also going to be available at hellsheadbangers.com.
Dude, I love Hell's Headbangers. You can get pretty much any metal record you have your mind set on at that website.
It's got to be one of, if not the largest independently owned metal distributors in the world. I mean, in the world.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
And they only live the one guy lives a couple blocks from me. He lives in Lakewood. And then the other guys, or rather the store, is only about 45 minutes from my house. So I usually go down there about once every 2 weeks and drop stuff off, pick stuff up, and hang out as much as I can.
That's awesome. So after the European tour, you guys have any dates to announce in the States or anything like that?
Yeah, we have 2 shows in August. Boy, I don't remember the dates. I know they're late in August. And one's going to be in Columbus, and one is here in Cleveland, or it'll actually be at No Class. And then a little later in the year, and it's late October, we're doing a small run with Acid Witch. They do a Halloween show. I think that's on like the 24th in Detroit, and we're doing a couple of shows around it with them. Of course, that's Acid Witch's time to shine. So I think it's going to be like freaking great, especially in Detroit, because that's kind of their home field advantage. So I'm looking forward to seeing it, and luckily I get to perform there too. So
that's killer. Well, Don, thanks a lot, man. I appreciate you being a guest, and it was great talking to you again, man.
Yeah, good to see you. I know people aren't going to see a video, but good to see you, Mike, and great to talk to you. Don't be a stranger. You mentioned you come into my mind's eye so often. Give me a call. Oh,
I will. You bet, man. Definitely. Just when I do call you, don't be surprised.
No.
All right,
I haven't blocked your number or anything.
You haven't blocked me yet?
So you're good.
All right, man. All right. Good luck on tour. And yeah, man, we'll be in touch.
Thanks so much, Mike. Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye.
For this is my body, which will be given up my soul.